is going on, everybody? This is another episode of the Going Super Affiliate series. I am so excited to be here today with you guys. Today, we have the opportunity to have Korab, that is an industry leader. He's a father, he is a mentor, he is a husband, and he's just an incredible person. He's hit 250K affiliate here with MDC, with One Mission. And, he's been through some things. He's born from Europe, lived in Europe. He was raised in New York and lived in South America for a while, and now living in Orlando area. And, for you guys that are watching this right now, this is going to be a great way for you to kind of get a perspective of how do you grow internationally, right? Because he's obviously been in a bunch of different cultures. He's been in a bunch of different areas. This is going to give you guys an inside look of how can you expand globally. And he's obviously had massive success quick, right? 250K affiliate, 30 days, amazing success. Now, as you guys know, this is not edited. This is uncut. This is raw. This is real. I'm going to be reading some questions off my phone. So for you that are watching this right now, you're gonna get the real thing. And Korab, man, super excited to do this with you. Guys, he had me on a Zoom one time. I had no clue what I was walking myself into. He had over 11,000 people on a Zoom call that was an overview. Never had that happen before. He created a massive movement in our previous company. And I've wanted to work with this guy for years. I'm so glad that I finally have the opportunity, not only just to interview, but to just work side by side, man. I tell everybody you're such a pleasure to work with. You truly care about your people, your team. And, when I come to work with you, it's always from a place of wanting to help your team, right? It's never about Korab. And that's one thing that I've taken working with you is wow, this guy truly just wants to see his people win. But to kick off this thing, I would just like, for you to let these guys know, obviously you've lived, you, again, were born in Europe.
43 years later.
Yeah, you were born in Europe, raised in New York.
Yep.
That's a different culture there.
Yep.
Then you went to South America. Yep. But now living in Florida. How, I guess, has that shaped your approach to the business? And how has that kind of helped, your success?
Okay. First off, thank you for having me, and thank you for not giving up on me. That's the
power of follow-up.
Yes, because actually, thanks for being yourself, and that's why we are here, impacting lives of many people. First off, I want to say that in this 12-year career and then over 25 years working in life, I've never been in a place where a lot of people will just text me randomly and thanking me for discovering this synergy working with you and with MDC and Akash and everything. So
I appreciate that.
It's amazing just to be in this space. And then I feel like every country has a lot of things to teach, but then also more places you live, you realize that human beings are very similar. Because for example, when you come to United States, people think that in US, Americans don't want to build network marketing, or Americans don't want to do this. And then you go to Colombia and they say the same. And then you go to Europe and they say the same. So that
it's kind of like when people will be like, oh man, my where I'm from, they're not open. They're not open to opportunity.
Yeah.
No, it's like that everywhere.
Yes. So I think every time you speak to somebody that builds in one market, they assume that it's easier to build somewhere else.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So, but also that living in different countries have helped me just try to just be open.
Yeah.
Trying to go from the place of love.
Yeah.
Because, for example, when you live in New York, you become very aggressive. So you get the grit. And then when you're born in a war-driven country, you just see anger and fear and everything.
Like Europe, you're saying?
Yeah, my country was just wars. We lived in 4 different wars. And then South America is a lot of survival. So, you have different parts.
Because people don't really make that much money, right?
Yeah.
you know.
And also like
Latin America.
just in general, like a lot of scarcity in global scale. And then now where I live in Orlando area, the city that I live is like very abundant, you know, like
Yeah, you were saying if someone makes 100 grand a year,
it's
they're
nothing.
poverty.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like you stop on a red light and there's Rolls Royces and McLarens and everything is like
Yeah.
very, very, very kind of affluent neighborhood, I guess they call it.
So
anyway,
those experiences though, how has that shaped the way that you approach?
first of all, I try not to judge anybody because also when we learn like living in different places, like we have tendency to judge people beforehand. So
You don't judge anyone.
I just don't judge anyone.
Okay.
Like you never know, because I always say we judge people based on where they are today, but we don't know where they're going to be tomorrow. You know, like
I think a lot of people in the industry, that's what they do.
Yeah.
You know, when they first get started, they're always like, that person would never do it.
yeah,
And then they'll be like, this person will for sure do it.
yeah, and the
So
opposite
it's usually
happens.
the opposite.
Yeah. For example, like one guy that I hated the most is the reason that I've become successful in network marketing. Because there was this guy in my first company that I was helping him to build his business. Literally, I was building the business for him because initially I thought that's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
And then one day he leaves and then he talks bad about me after I gave him everything.
Yeah.
So I was so pissed at this guy. And then when I started another company, one of his leaders contacted me and everything started from that one person. And then we built like over 190,000 people team
Wow.
in that second company, thanks to that guy, like connection that he did with somebody else. So like not judging, I think is the biggest thing that you learn living in different cultures, because we have tendency to judge things based on what we know. But when you live in different cultures, you just learn that nothing is good or bad. Just things are just the way they are.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, jumping into your business, like I said in the very beginning, you know, you hit 250K affiliate in 30 days. You know, for a lot of people, that can take years, you know, and some people never hit 250K affiliate.
Yeah.
So for you to do that in 30 days, what was your launch strategy before you launched? And I guess how many enrollments per day would you say you were kind of focused on?
Okay. So this is a counterintuitive, but every time we launch a new company, we have like expectations, which are good and bad. Because when you have expectations and you achieve them, means that your goal was too small. And when it's too big and you don't achieve them, you feel unsatisfied. So in a way, it's like double-edged sword.
So maybe,
this is
maybe
the
we
first
should tell
time.
these guys, when I was bringing him in, he said, I might get 100 people.
Yes. Because so I totally came with no expectations,
you
because
did.
the decision was made just by myself.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I made decision. I even tell people when I decided to join Akash, and I just believed in you. Like I didn't know
Appreciate
even the
that, man.
comp plan, man. Like people are asking me like, how's this bonus? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not getting paid yet. So when they pay me, I'll tell you how is it.
Yeah.
So not having expectation, but giving it all on a field, I think is the road to success.
Yeah. Well, okay. So to touch on that, then you didn't really have then a launch strategy.
No.
It was more of just, you know, you just trusted the process. You
Yes.
came in. So the next question that I did have was it purely personal sales, or did you already have leaders that were ready to run with you? But obviously the question or the answers to both those questions was no, you just kind of did both. You got your own personals, and then you had some leaders to run with you, right?
But the thing is that when you're committed to a cause and you know that what you're doing is value, for some reason you attract people.
Yeah, you attracted them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened to me. Like I believe the universe or God just had put people in my way that I'm just representation of people that are maybe way better than I am in this industry, which I think is the end goal for everybody in this industry.
Right.
To have people better than themselves in their team.
Yep.
So I think it's that.
Was there a challenge though that you faced in your first 30 days?
This is the fastest rank with no challenge at all. Like even like if you remember, like initially we were talking about very low ranks that I was asking you like, how do I hit this one and that one? And you're like, dude, don't worry, you'll just start building and people will come in and And I'm like, yeah, this guy keeps saying that, but that's maybe not the way it is. But things worked out very well. And it keeps going that way. I feel like, well, there's a book called Power versus Force. Okay. And then they talk about power being from the abundance and force is from scarcity. So I feel like when we launched, I just believed in abundance. Like I even felt it. So I think that was, some people call it vibration, whatever you want to call it. So I think that vibration was what was attracting everything. And a lot of people have come in that is just, even today, a lot of people are coming in and I'm like, really? This is like a dream happening.
Yeah, in the first Road to Super Affiliate series video that, I kind of talked about how people will judge their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. And obviously, like you coming in, hitting 250K affiliate in 30 days, like everyone that's watching this might think like, oh, well, if I don't do that, am I failing? And no, obviously they're not failing. No. It's just your level of leadership that you came in with is just a lot higher than some other people.
Yeah, so, I'll just add that one thing there. I've been in the industry for 12 years, and I always have this philosophy for which I build. I said, people will leave your team. It's just human nature.
Right.
But then you, as a leader, decide when they leave, if they talk good about you or bad about you.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always focused that if somebody leaves, it's because they choose to leave.
Yeah.
And they are not going like personal against me.
Yeah.
So then, because I believe at one point everything will make sense. And I think this time that 12 years of just being real with people is making sense.
Good relationships.
Yes, the relationships. And now that, like, everybody's coming back for those 12 years, and I think that's a powerful thing.
And to expand on that, I guess, for you guys also that are watching, that's a big piece that he just said. It's working on the relationships. And through the process of your career, if you just focus on building up those relationships, it's going to help you have success long term.
Yeah.
But now you've built organizations across multiple continents. Obviously you speak 5 different languages. What is different about building a global business? Adapting your leadership and messaging across different cultures. What's different about that?
Okay. On the essence is the same thing, because we are all human beings and we are motivated by same things. But also the way I like to build is like always focusing more on what are we going to do long run than short term. Okay. A lot of times we feel like everybody's here for money, which money is a mean to an end. Yeah. But what is the end? Yep. Okay, so for me, like I'm a big on personal finance. So like all my leaders, I'm very, very cautious, like how I guide them to organize their money correctly and not have to build 10 times their financial lives in life, so that I think people can feel that. And so that works kind of in every culture when you're teaching people to have their emergency fund and to have to plan their life and then start live within their means and have focus and treat it as business. I like to call our industry, initially I like to call it as a job, and people call it a business, but if somebody that never had business, they have no idea what business means. Yeah. They see Jeff Bezos and they think, okay, so I'm going to behave like Jeff Bezos. Yeah, but that's 30 years after he has launched his company. Yeah. So I'd like to tell people, see it as a job initially. And the thing that I like here, because they pay us like a salary based on your job, like your weekly production, and then you get like the team commission as well, which is cool because you have kind of the job income and the business income. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like once a month you get the business income, and then weekly you get a job income. So I make people focus on that. I'm like, dude, in this company you can easily, like from weekly work, you can make your living. Yep. And then whatever you make monthly, that can go into a savings or investment or whatever you're trying to build in your life.
So you're breaking down basically the fact that all of our weekly checks, like our personals and then our team's personals, the money that we make from that is like you're going to your job. Yeah. And whatever you're making, that's what you're going to get paid for your week's worth. Yes. Now, the rest is like your salary for your
Yes.
business. You're running
Yeah.
your business, and that's kind of like what you're going to save,
Yeah.
stack for the future. I like that. That's cool.
It's like owner operator of the business. You get paid to pay your bills,
Yep.
and then whatever is left over at the end of the month in a business, it's yours.
Right.
So I like it to see it that way because it doesn't make me feel like I have right to spend everything, but I have kind of the half of it that I can spend, and the other half I will just keep it for investment.
So you created a powerful movement called Delta.
Yes.
Now, why was it so successful, and how did you get it to be so scalable?
Why was so successful that we genuinely believe that we wanted to give people a chance to a better life. So we are focused on three things: on your health, your wealth, and your mindset. That was our goal initially. And Delta is a triangle, so each corner, each side of the triangle was one of these parts. And however, the what we were trying to build, I was living too. So like, I was the one focused in health, I was the one focused in wealth, I was the one focused on my mindset. So it made sense to people because people are tired of like people selling you something that they don't do.
Yeah.
And I mean, people can smell the bullshit from a mile away, as they say.
Yeah.
So it's just like you have to be inspiration to people instead of trying to motivate people.
Would you say that people don't really follow the company? They follow the energy and the vision and the movement?
Yes, definitely. People. The company is always a vehicle that you can drive, but then where you want to go.
Right.
So I think the vision is the main thing in life in general.
And later on, guys, we're going to talk about, in different videos of this series, we're going to talk about how to actually create those types of movements and those types of cultures, because if you do want to build like a long-term successful team, it is going to come down to you creating a winning culture. And we'll dive deep into that on this series. But yeah, man, I watched your guys' movement, and it was huge.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that again here. Obviously with 1M, One Mission. I know we have big dreams about this and different leadership things. But on that topic of leadership and just scaling organizations, when you were leading thousands of people, how do you keep everybody so engaged, but then also producing at the same time?
Okay, that's a good question.
Like when you have thousands of people, how do you keep them engaged?
Because when you lead by example and you become like, you're leading by example and you become a figure of influence and inspiration. One day they want to be kind of where you are today, and then you live by it. It's not like you're saying and then you're doing something the opposite. It just becomes a standard.
I just interviewed Ali last episode where I interviewed a leader, and we were talking about how people only do what you do,
Definitely.
not what you say.
Yeah.
You're going to hear from probably every leader when we get to a question that has to do with how do you motivate other people, how do you get other people moving. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And that's why, like, again, I go back. If people just follow on that formula, like getting paid from your job weekly here, and then getting paid monthly from the team, from your business, that will keep them always on that phase one.
Yeah.
So no matter how big you are, like for example, I never see myself big enough, so I don't have time for a prospect. And I don't care if my prospect is 18 years old or is 65 years old, I'll give them the same attention. I'll talk to them and everything. So, but a lot of times when somebody's having initial success in the industry, they will forget that, like phase one. And then whatever you do today usually will take 90 days that the whole team is doing the same thing. So if you're partying today, in 90 days everybody will be at the party because they will think that's the way it is. So I think that's what it is. Like, it's just...
So when you were building, that movement, how were you spotting like real leadership potential, right? Like what were some of the qualities that you looked for when you were trying to identify those leaders?
Okay, we will do a lot of events. So like everything matters. You know, like one of my mentors in the industry, he was like 30 years in the industry. He was an older guy, and he was like, Korab, in this industry is a detail-based industry. The difference between very good and great is just details. You know, like it's not like we know something else that they don't know. It's just like those details. So I focus a lot in details, like the values that the leader is projecting. How does he behave in an event? You know, like if he's all day on a phone playing it on Instagram while the event is going on, I'm like, this guy is not taking seriously. So I always try to tell people that if you treat this business as a real business, you will get a lot of rewards. But a lot of people don't treat it as business. People treat it as job. And what does it mean as a job? Is like you expect somebody else to tell you what to do. But if you open a restaurant, your neighbor or competition is not going to come tell you what to do.
So would you say one of the qualities is self-motivated?
Self-motivated and just being proactive. You know, of course,
So the people
you'll
that
miss
don't come
some
to
of
you
the
with
things.
problems, they come to you with maybe some solutions?
Yes.
With their problems?
And if they come with problems, it has to be because they have tried something and
Okay.
they don't work. Like you're not like a baby just like removing a pacifier and crying. I mean, you tried, they don't work, so what else can I do?
Cool.
But also but again goes back to what are you attracting with your personality? Because a lot of times people think that they can attract leaders better than themselves when they are resisting to become that person that attracts those leaders, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know?
So have you ever been wrong about people that
In
you
the
thought
industry?
maybe that you thought were leaders?
Oh yeah. It happens because like you'll find the way, like sometimes you
feel like you've poured in so much to somebody and
for example, I always remember this story. I had a guy in my team that he was doing amazing. He's best energy, always smile on his face, high energy guy, and he was advancing so fast. And then one day we were just two of us, and I told him, dude, what you're doing, nobody in my career has done. And ever since that day, like he just went downhill. So I guess he wasn't ready to be one of the best. Okay. So sometimes like I also think like we have to see where the standards are of people, because sometimes we as leader, like we open the path for certain leaders to hit the certain ranks, but if they don't feel deserving there, they will go back to where they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sometimes that's like when we misfire. You know, like somebody that was making $5,000, you take them to 25 grand, and if they're not ready mentally, they will go back to 5.
Yep.
You know, they will just start sabotaging everything and destroying everything. So that I've seen that few times with great leaders, but it's just that mindset thing.
Okay. All right, let's talk about prospecting, recruiting, and maybe some of your sales strategies.
Okay.
What is your number one strategy for attracting high-level leaders, and how do you connect with them?
Okay. First off, like keeping the connections, like that follow-up forever. Like I would never give up on anybody. Yes. That what you did with me, I do it every day with everybody.
Yep.
Like especially nowadays with social media, it's way easier because it's not like you have to call somebody. But you can always comment on their Valentine's Day or you comment on their birthday. And then every once in a while also, Matthew, what I've learned, that sometimes in life, like just out of nothing, you think of a leader. You're like, oh, this guy. And I'll take the phone and text him right away.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to second, because I feel like older I'm getting, I feel like the intuition is the strongest thing we have in life. So if intuition is telling me to call Taylor or text him, I'll just do it immediately. Because if I start giving a second thought, I'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
And do that have worked very well. Because if your intuition tells you, probably there is something there. I mean, why out of 8 billion people, your intuition will tell you about one person? So some people say it's a God talking through you or whatever, but just go with it. Don't Because a lot of people, a lot of times when we are new in this industry, we do that. Like, oh, my cousin this. And then, no, but wait, he just started a new business. Oh, no, probably he's doing good because he just bought a car. And you're assuming everything.
Instead of just messaging.
Yeah, just messaging. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? I was thinking of you today and just wanted to see what's up. And then people start the conversation. Oh, I'm good.
Well,
Oh,
that's a
thanks.
great point what you just said right there, because a lot of you guys that are watching right now, you don't have to say the perfect thing.
No.
Right? You just said, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
How's it going?
yeah,
And you'll do that to anybody that comes into your mind?
yeah. But then also I care also about people. Like I ask people like and then how many kids you have and are you married and no and this and that, and I try to remember as much things. So like putting them first instead of yourself first.
That's actually a great point. I hope that you guys heard that as well, which is remembering what things people have told you when you visit them again and talk to them, right? Like if they tell you, hey, I just had a kid, and you talk to them 6 months later, say, hey, how's the newborn?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you just got engaged.
Yeah.
When are you getting married? You know, like just people feel more connected to you if you remember personal things about them, right?
Totally. And now with social media, it's very easy. For example, you don't have to remember the name of the wife and the kids, but you can go through Instagram and you'll see probably there's a post that they mention the names.
Yeah.
So you use that as leverage, like,
I
hey,
mean,
how's this and that? And they're like, wow, this guy cares. Maybe they assume maybe you're looking at the photos, but whatever it is, you're still doing that extra.
Yep. Here's one little Swiss Army knife that you guys can all use is, let's say I talk to you, Korab, right? You just got a brand new job. You're working, let's say you became the GM of a car sales dealership, right? Our conversation 6 months ago was you were excited about your new promotion that you just got. If I reach out to you 6 months later, my first question is, hey, Korab, how's that new promotion going? Are you loving it? Everybody goes through hills and valleys, right?
Yep.
When you got that new promotion, you might have been on a hill.
Yep.
6 months goes by, you realize that you didn't get as much of a pay raise as you thought, and your responsibility level is way higher than it's ever been. And now you feel overworked and underpaid.
Yep.
And if I reach out to you and I say, hey, how's that promotion? How's it going? You might come back to me and say, honestly, Matt, I hate it.
Yeah.
And now this might be the time where we can reconnect.
Yeah.
So keeping it personal, you just said.
And also what I always try to explain people is that in a traditional world, for somebody to double their income might be a question of 3 to 5 years to double their income.
Yep.
However, here, like if you move to 1K, you're making, but then when you hit 5K, you literally 5x your income. So when people ask you how you doing, you can say, I just 5x my income. You don't have to say how much money.
You're saying use like if you reached out to somebody,
because
you start talking
sometimes
to me and be like, oh, I've 5x my income since we last talked.
Because they'll be like, oh, so Maddie, how's your job? No, I'm doing good. What about you? Because usually people reciprocate the questions. Like when you want somebody to ask you something, you should ask them the same question and they will ask you. So if you tell me, no, I'm doing great, and then how about you? I'm like, well, on the side project that I started that I told you 4 months ago, I just 5x my income.
Wow.
And for them, 5x is a big number. I mean, they don't know the details, but it's like where you can use the... Oh, okay, so what I was going to say is that, so in network marketing, for us, like if somebody's stuck or advances every 6 months 1 rank, it feels slow. But out there, people are 3 years in the same income level.
Yep.
However, the eggs are like $15 or whatever. So that being said, like I tell my people every once in a while, just check back with people because they're in traditional life, they're not advancing as the pace that we are doing here. You know? So that's always like a good thing because you get the conversation started.
I like that. Okay, so now on your mindset, the legacy obviously that you've built, I want you to give some advice to our audience that's listening right now. You've been in the industry for 12 years.
Yes.
What would you say your biggest lesson you've had?
My biggest lesson in the industry is that nobody cares about me. It's all about them. So sometimes here in this industry, when we get to the big ranks, we feel like the world revolves around us because of recognition that we got everything. But a human being, nobody cares about you. I mean, we all came naked, scared in this world, and we all die naked and scared. So at the end of the day, you come on your own, you leave on your own.
Wow.
So if you can start living this business as what they want to achieve, the business will be way easier. Most of people we think like, I want this and I want this car and I want this house, and that way you're never like giving it enough thought to think what they want.
Yeah.
When I say they, I mean your team.
Yeah.
For me, I think that every time there's a rank every time I get to a new rank is because I'm more focused in what people want in my team.
Okay. Well, you're a father now.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
You're a husband. Has your why changed in your vision for the future since that's happened?
Yes, definitely. That's the biggest shift in my life since my Rio was born. And I explain it to this way. Most of us comes from a very hypocritical families when they expected from us to give 100%. However, our parents didn't match that 100% the way they were expecting us to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I hope some of the people, or hopefully everybody that is watching this, comes from a family of go-getters and high achievers, but most of us are not from those families.
Yeah.
So what I never want to do in my life is be a hypocrite to my son. Tomorrow I expect him to be a athlete or something, and I ask him to give 100% while I'm not giving 100%. So what I'm trying to say is, like, ever since my son was born, I even told my wife, I have no more excuses not to give 100% on everything I do. And then how you do one thing, you do everything.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fear, like that my son doesn't see the best version of me. That's the biggest thing that I don't want to happen.
That's cool.
And that's the legacy I want to leave, with other things too.
If someone's watching this and wants to just go all in, what is something that Korab would say to them first?
Okay. I would say a phrase, all you can do is all you can do. And success for me in life is when you go at night to sleep and you know that you left it all on a field. You know? Like they say, for example, when you do sports team, like you have played sports teams and I've played sports team, sometimes you will give it 100% and you will lose the game. But then you feel satisfied because you gave it all. And there's time that you don't give it all and you win the game, but you don't feel the same because you didn't give it all. So in life, as long as we give it 100%, the wins will come and the championships will come. So I think that will be like the thing that I'll give it to everybody. I'll say, like, if you want to be successful, not just in this, in anything, make sure that you give 100%. And the results will come.
Just give it your all.
Yep.
And let the chips fall where they may.
There's nothing better than when you go to sleep and you just have that inner smile because you know that you gave it all. And then not always that immediately translate into a business volume, but you know that you have done something great.
Okay, so last question.
Okay.
You built your business, a 250K affiliate, in 30 days. If someone wants to do that again, they want to do it as well, I guess what's the blueprint?
The blueprint for me, the easiest way, easiest path that I think to start from scratch and doing that is like to go for 100 signups in 90 days.
Okay.
100 direct signups. But then not just being a machine and signing up and let them just like be around, but like sign up 100, and then have plan with them. Like, what's the plan? Like 3M free, 1K, 5K, and you kind of have that roadmap for them. But I think everything starts with your personal production, because once you have that personal volume going, there a lot of things happen in that dynamic. Like your team realizes that you don't need them. You're there to help them, but you don't need them. Because the worst thing that can happen in this industry is when your team knows that you need them. You know, when they're like, yeah, but I'm the only leader they have, so I'm just gonna start asking and be like a kid. But if you're working every day, you kind of bringing new energy in, to be like, dude, this guy is going to be with me or without me. Because in life, a lot of people will do more to not be left behind than to be in front. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like when the train starts moving, like that's how I explain to people. I say like, we are like freight train. So some people will be the early adopters, that they will try to jump on the first car of the train, but there will be others that just because train is moving, they will start moving to jump on a train. Doesn't matter if it's in the last car or whatever.
Yeah.
So like as long as you keep moving the train, different people will be motivated to jump on a different card of the same train. And which one? They decide. Not everybody's going to be on that executive first card.
That is, that's amazing, man. You answered that so good. You know, guys, you know, obviously I think, you know, something that you guys all can take from this is just be that freight train, right? And don't care about where people get on. Just let that train keep going.
Yeah.
And the train can be long, right? And wherever people jump on, they jump on. And just having that vision for that long term. So Korab, thank you, man, for everything. Thanks for your answers. Guys, that's the Super Affiliate, Go Super Affiliate series with Korab, 250K affiliate here with one mission. You know, every week we're going to touch on the nuts and bolts. We're going to touch on how to build your business from the ground up, from the basics, all the way to the advanced side of things. And each week we're going to feature, you know, different leaders that are either 250K affiliates and above to teach you kind of like what they've done to be successful. So thank you guys for listening. Drop a comment in the chat if you guys enjoyed this series. Again, Korab, man, thank you so much. And let's continue to keep crushing it.
Thank you, Manny. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace out.